Hey, good morning, everyone. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. Okay, let's start that. Let's start the session. Can you please confirm whether you can see my screen or not? First of all, good morning, Mohammed. Yes, thank you. Uh, so right now I have this user registration system. So previously we have not written the Docker file, right? So freshly write a Docker compose file, the Docker file. I think I need to build the application. Let's go to this terminal and do a Mavenkin install. So once it has generated the chart, then probably we do have that. So we have got this. So target user registration system 1.1 snapshot.jar. And I just wanted to call this as user registration.jar on Docker container itself. User registration. And then entry point, space, uh, hyphen jar, forward slash. That's it. Okay. So this is what we have done yesterday. Okay. Now what I just wanted to do. So here this application is going to have this one. So it has the URL username and the password. So right now it is my local machine, right? So let me explain you the variations of running this application inside a Docker container now. Okay. So now what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to build the Docker image for this. So Docker build -t. That means we need to give the project name. So what is that one? So user registration. Here, the name, whatever you just wanted to give, you can just give on your own basis. So then we then we is the Docker username. So user registration system. You can give registration system also, not a problem. So here you can just give the version. So I just wanted to give it as 1.1 space dot. That's it. So Docker build, the image name and the version and the dot. So dot indicates the location of the Docker file. So here, basically, we are running the Docker build command in the user registration system, right? In the same user registration system, we do have the Docker file. So dot means the current root directory itself has the Docker file. So that's the total idea. Okay. So let's run this and let me go to the Docker. First of all, I just wanted to stop all these containers. First of all, I can run the images and enter it. Hmm. Okay, so I think it is 17 Alpine, not 17 Alpine. Okay. Okay, good. We are good. Now we can see that the Docker image has been generated with 1.1 tag. That is the version. Okay, now I just wanted to run this application first of all directly from the Docker, so it will not expose any code. But let's see whether the application is running or not. Okay, let's see this now. Because if you see our source main resources, you see that there is application.yaml and it has a data source. This is local to my machine. Got it? So this is just local to my machine. So my machine local host is different and a Docker container local host and a local host is different. Every system has its own local host. So I just wanted to tell you, I just wanted to run this application first of all, and let's see what is going to happen behind the scenes. The application will never start. So here, one second, guys. Guys, can you wait for 2 to 3 minutes? Only 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, guys. I just had my breakfast idli. Okay. So otherwise, it will go to 10:30, something like that, right? So that's the total idea. Okay. So I ate it. So let's see what is happening over here. So here, if you see the error, communications links failure. The driver has not received any packets from the server. That means, what does this mean? So it was unable to connect to the MySQL server. So let me tell you some terminologies over here. Okay. So here, my local machine has an operating system. It has its own local host. Do you know what is the local host IP address? You can also call like this. Okay. And if you consider the Docker machine, it has its own operating system and it has its own local host. Okay. So that's the total idea. And now, if you consider this two scenarios over here, this local host cannot communicate with this local host. That means, let's say our Spring Boot application is running inside a Docker machine, right? So it has its own operating system. It has its own container, right? Where it is actually having the local host. Okay. So my local machine local host is different and the Docker machine local host is different. Two local hosts cannot communicate with each other. So that's the first thing. Understood this point? Anyone has any conclusions, first of all? Same IP, how it will be having the same IP. Okay, let me explain you the terms and terminologies. That's the reason I'm here today. Okay, so same IP, man. See, machine is different, right? Okay, let me tell you, Gaurav, you have your local machine. I have my local machine. Okay, so I have a Spring Boot application running on localhost 8080, right? Can you access my localhost 8080 from your machine? Tell me. Okay, very simple, right? So let me come to the point first of all. Okay, so right now on my operating system there is MySQL installed. Correct? Yeah, and there is Java also installed, JDK, to run Spring Boot application, right? So that's the reason it is working local fine. Right now it has JDK, that means inside the Docker container, it has JDK, that means OpenJDK Alpine image has already been downloaded. And then, do we have MySQL running in Docker, first of all? That's my question. Do you have MySQL running on Docker, first of all? No. Gaurav, are you clear with that? Do you have MySQL database on Docker, first of all? MySQL is not there in Docker container, man. So that's the reason it was not able to. Yes, we can download the image, but what is the format for that? Okay. So here, so I will tell you one thing. So if this local host has to be communicated with this local host, that means Docker container local host has to communicate with my local host. That will never happen. Okay. But there is a way. There's something called a network. Let me tell you one simple thing. So Gaurav has one mobile. I have one mobile. Will those two mobiles can communicate with each other? No. The answer is no. But If we have a network, can we connect? Yes, we can connect through Bluetooth, we can connect through WhatsApp, we can connect through messages if there is a network, right? So in Docker also, if there is a network, then there can be a communication between the IP addresses. Let me tell you what I'm telling you about first of all, okay? So here, first of all, I just wanted to, so here I have actually defined the Docker file. There, basically we are saying that it is a Java-based application. So I'm just installing Java. So can we install MySQL also in this Docker file? No, that's not the good way. Okay. So there is another way, which is something called Docker Compose tool. Okay. So let me tell you what is the Docker Compose tool. So let's get the definition from the Google. So Docker Compose is the tool that helps to define and share your multi-container applications. Okay. So right now we do have a this is the image, right? This is the image. When we run an image, it becomes a container. That means there is a JDK container also, but it is a part of our user registration system, right? So now this user registration system is running as a container in our Docker. So it has JDK also running as a container inside that, right? So it's a part of the container. Now, if we have to install MySQL, there has to be a MySQL container running. But in Docker, if both the containers have to talk to each other, there has to be a network, first of all. Let me tell you one simple thing, okay? So let me tell you one more thing. So let me stop this application and open a demo application, first of all. Yesterday we have worked on this. Yeah, this is a very simple application which has a simple get mapping endpoint. Very simple, okay? Now, close all tabs. Now, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to do Docker build. I just wanted to remove the existing containers, first of all. Delete this. Okay. It's forever. Go to images. I'm going to delete it. Container is still not deleted. Okay, now it's deleted. Now let me delete this one. So if the container is not gets deleted, the image will never be deleted. Okay. So first delete your container or stop your container, then delete your image. That's all. Okay. So now the first thing, Docker build -d, then we / what is the demo hyphen 1.0 hyphen snapshot dot jar. So I have not given the path. Dot indicates the Docker file location. Okay, what is happening over here? So here, Docker build -t invalid tag. That means I have not given the version. Okay, so I was mentioning it as target. Sorry, demo colon 1.0. That's it. Now run this. I was confused with this command, this one. Okay. So now we have this image running. So my question to everyone is, how many times we can run this image? How many times we can run this image? No. We can run multiple times. Okay. Let me show it to you. So let me run this image. Let it start. Started on 8080. Let's start this again. Started on 8080. Let's start this again. Start it again. Let's start it one more time. Yes. It will create separate containers every time. But let's come to these images and containers. Now we have 4 different containers running on port 8080. That means each and every container is independent and it is not going to disturb any other container. So in Docker, every container will run in its own isolated environment. Do you know what is the isolated environment? Anyone? The meaning of isolated environment. Anyone knows the meaning of isolated environment? Yes, it's an independent environment. Okay. So every container is independent of the other containers. Okay. Its own environment, it will not disturb others. Thank you, Abhinav, Bellam, Konda, and Akash, as well as Gaurav and Murli. Okay. Thanks for your comments. Okay. Now, let's say right now in my local machine, can I run Spring Boot application multiple times? That's my question. Abhinav Bellakonda, I cannot start my Spring Boot application on the same port. You're getting it? Yeah. Cannot start. Okay, okay. So, so let me show this in action. Okay. Demo application. So run this application. So Docker environment is different. Right now on my local machine, 8080 port is free to use. Okay. So now let's start the application. Yeah. It started the application on 8080. That means now can I run this application again? Let's see. It is asking me to stop and rerun. Got it? Got it or not? So we cannot run the application on the same port. Got it? Abhinav Bellamkonda. Yes, I just wanted to unmute you. So let's take so much time because there are some people who, yeah. Yes, Abhinav.
Hi, sir. So, sir, I know we can't run on same port, but I've seen some people will run like same instance,
Yeah,
like
that is
same
fine. So
application,
here,
another
yeah.
instance.
So here, if you can see this, we have demo application, right? So we can
Yeah.
create another demo application and we can give this as demo application 1. And here the main class is our demo application. And here we can actually give server dot port equal to 8081. Okay. Now here, this is the only way that you can run on different port. Okay. Now, if you see that here, you have demo application 1. Just run this. It will start on 8081. See this?
Okay, sir.
And this
So
application is starting on 8081. Okay.
okay, sir. I
So
was a bit
now, can you
confused.
see? Yeah, you're a bit confused, right?
Yeah. About these things actually. I thought it will run on same.
Oh, okay. You're confused on that. Okay.
Yeah, but now I got clarity. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So that's the reason. We just wanted to cover every point so that it will clarify a lot of confusions in all the other people as well. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Abhinav, for your question. It was really helpful. Yeah. So now, so I'll just stop this application, not required. So now, what do you see from this? If you just see the Docker. No, I just wanted to stop this application as well. Yeah, stop this application. So now, Let's go to this. First of all, we can run the same application on different port. Compatible load balancing. Right now, if you are using Docker, you don't have to do that, because if you see this Docker, we have 4 different containers. Let's say all the ports are 8080, correct? Now, if you are going to send a localhost 8080 request, it will be served by multiple instances. First time, it will be served from Sweet Tesla, Reverend Wright. So these are actually the container names. So there are 4 containers running for this image, the same image. Now, when we are actually hitting, or there are so many end users, let's say there are 100 requests, 20 requests will go to the first container. The 20 other requests will go to this one. 30 other requests will go to this one, and 30 requests will go to this one. So here the load balancing will be done, but we will see that once we are actually working on Eureka server. Okay. We'll see that in action when we are using Docker containers, and how to do the load balancing, all these kind of things, especially the client-side load balancing. Okay. So that's the total idea. Any questions on this in order to proceed further, first of all? Okay. So now, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to delete all these containers, and I just wanted to go to the application where we have used the MySQL. Okay, now delete this one as well. And now, what we can do, we'll just go to this one, open the recent projects. And user registration system, this window. Close everything. Yeah. So now what I just wanted to do, so here we do have a Docker file, right? Correct, right? Now, right now, if I just wanted to build an image for this, it was not running because it was unable to connect to the MySQL server. What is that one? This is user registration, right? I will give registration. 1.0, whatever the name that you want to give, and space dot. That's it. So now it will create an image. Okay, now we have got the image, and then probably run this again and see. We are going to get the same issue. And let's understand what is happening behind the scenes now. Okay. So here you can see that there's a communications links value. The driver has not received any packets from the server. So it was actually saying that all these are related to database connectivity only. Okay. So now it is not able to connect to the database. Now what we can do, first of all. So right now we have installed this Docker image, the Java image as part of this application, right? Now, the other thing what we need to do, first of all, there is something called a Docker Compose tool. So, Docker Compose is basically used for communicating between 2 containers. Okay. So here, what I just wanted to do now, so I just wanted to create a new file, Docker-compose dot YML, add it. And now here, what I just wanted to do, if you see this, we'll have something called a version. So here, the version I've just wanted to use is 3.8. So this is a version of the Docker Compose tool. So here you can keep whatever you want, 3.0 or 3.1, 3.2, everything will work. Okay, so this is just a version of the Docker Compose. So if you just see Docker Compose versions. See here. So here, if you can see that, if the Docker engine release is where we can see Docker engine, right? So if you just go to this Docker desktop, go to the settings. So here there's a Docker engine. So what is the version here? Version 24.0.6. Now they're saying that if the Docker engine is 19.030 plus, that means ours is 24. So probably we can use this version as 3.8 in our Docker Compose file. So that's the total idea. Got it? Okay, so this is the versioning. Now, what I need to do over here, first of all, I just wanted to create some tags. Don't worry, I will tell you each and everything. Only in the beginning it will be difficult. So there is something called services. And here, services is a inbuilt key which has been provided by Docker. So we need to define services. What is the service? First of all, we do want. The first service that I do want is MySQL. Okay. So if you just go to over here, I just wanted to say this as MySQL image. That's it. This is your own one. Okay. So I think I just wanted to have MySQL DB. So I just wanted to say MySQL DB. The naming convention is your own choice at the third line. Okay. Now, when you enter after the service name, when you enter the fourth line, there is something called the image. This image is a defined property. How the services is defined? So here services is inbuilt. So here, whatever the service name that you wanted to give, it's your custom name. But here you need to give a image name of the MySQL. Okay. So if you go to the Docker Hub, so type MySQL Docker. So here, the image name is MySQL itself. Okay. So let's go to this and type MySQL image. That's it. So now the next thing what I need to do, there's something called the environment. So see here, environment. So here, I just wanted to define, first of all, MySQL root password. So this constant has to be defined exactly like this. Okay. So what is the MySQL root password? So I just wanted to give the MySQL root password as, I just wanted to use the same password. So here, then we should look at the rate 2. And here I just wanted to use MySQL underscore user colon Docker MySQL and MySQL underscore password. Here I just wanted to give the custom password, which is something like what we can say is, so let's use the same thing. Okay. Now let me explain you what I just wanted to do over here. Okay. So first of all, what I'm just doing over here, I'm defining one service. The service name is MySQL-DB. This name is your choice. And this is the image, which is a predefined property. So this official image is from directly the Docker Hub. So here the image name is MySQL. So here there is something called an environment. There is a MySQL root password, Dhanvishan key at the rate 2, and the MySQL password and the user is this one. Okay. So right now everyone knows that MySQL default username is root. So we don't have to define it. We just have to define MySQL root password as some password. Okay. And then probably what it will do, it will just create a user with Docker MySQL and the password as the same password that we have defined for the root. Okay. So now what I can just do, I'll just go to this ports. There is something called a ports. So here, so here I need to do a port mapping. So first of all, 3306, 3306. Can I give like this first of all? I think probably we can just use single quotations or double quotations is also fine. Okay. So first of all, what I need to do. Okay. So don't worry about all these things. I will tell you what I just wanted to do now. Okay. So here, I just wanted to, so if you just see that 3306 is the container port, but 3306 is the exposed port. But in my local machine, 3306 is already in use, correct? See here, 3306 is already in use. I cannot use the same port again. Okay. So I need to expose a different port. So 3307, I just wanted to. Okay. Now what I just wanted to do. So there is something, a command called docker compose up. Okay. So I just wanted to do docker compose up. So this docker compose up is specifically designed. This command is specifically designed to execute this docker compose YAML file. That's it. Okay. So don't worry, I will tell you each and everything. So just execute this command and let's see what is going to happen. See here, it is actually pulling the MySQL DB and it is actually pulling a lot of things behind the scenes. And now if you just go to your, just wait for some time. Okay, it's creating. So it has created, see here, it has created a network user registration system default. And then there is a container called user registration system, MySQL DB-1. And now, can you see that it is starting the MySQL? So probably the MySQL server is up. See here, yes, MySQL community server, GPL. So received shutdown from user root and then probably wait for some time. Yeah, unless you see. See here, 3306 is a container, Docker container port, MySQL community server, GPL. Okay. Now this port is actually running inside a Docker container, but in our operating system, 3306 is already taken. So that's the reason I have exposed 3307 so that I can access the container MySQL DB from my local machine. Okay. Now, what we can do, we'll just go to this Docker. We'll just add a connection. So here the connection name is Docker DB. So what is the username? Docker. Let's go to this and copy this one. Docker MySQL. And then the password is this one. And I'll just test the connection. I'll just give this and click on OK. So 3306 is already in use. So we have exposed that on 3307. And now test the connection, paste the password and click on OK. So now we have connected to our Docker container MySQL DB through this 3307 port. So inside the Docker container, there is a MySQL image running as a container on 3306, but it has exposed a port on 3307. So that's the reason I just wanted to click on OK. And then here is your Docker DB. So right now there is nothing over here. Okay, got it? Any confusions here? Anyone? Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, you mentioned that 3307 and 3306, right? So that means we cannot have the same port number container our local. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I need to understand.
Okay.
And the password what you are giving is like it's you are exposing the password. Right? Can we encrypt?
Yes. We can also do the encryption later on, but not right now because I have
Okay.
not covered the
No,
encryption
yeah,
mechanisms,
no.
right? We will cover that one as well, Suresh.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
So, but
And
I
this,
have not explained this one, so I just wanted to explain now. Okay.
so this
So everyone knows.
configuration and all, it will take care by default, right?
Yes,
Locally,
yes.
so we need to have both SQL Server installed locally, and for this one, you have to have the entry in the YAML file. Correct?
Right. Exactly. Correct.
Both the place. Yeah. got
Yes.
it.
So here, what I just wanted to do, see, so services is inbuilt property. So we need to use services only. We cannot define service like this. So that is an error. Services is already a property provided by Docker Compose. Now here you can give whatever the service name that you want. It's your own service name. Okay. Now here, if you consider image, environment, ports, all these are Docker related things.
The keywords.
Okay. Yeah. Now what I'm doing, I'm pulling the MySQL software from the Docker Hub. Now everyone knows that by default MySQL has a root username, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So root username is the username. Now I'm just giving a MySQL root password as dhanvishanmukhi@2. Now with this, what it actually does, it actually creates one user with Docker MySQL with the password dhanvishanmukhi@2. This password can be different also, but I have given the same. The only thing, whenever it actually pulls MySQL image and runs that image as a container inside a Docker, it actually uses this MySQL root password, authenticates it to the MySQL, and then creates a new user, Docker MySQL. But you can also use root dhanvishanmukhi@2, or you can use Docker MySQL dhanvishanmukhi@2. That's the total idea.
But in localhost MySQL, we have to use this password, the one what you created on Docker.
Yes, right, exactly.
Okay, we cannot use root there because
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's see what is going to happen now. I just wanted to go to this application now. So where is this Docker desktop? Yeah. So here, if we just close this one, now we can see that there are two images, MySQL and then registration. And if you see this, can you see this? There is a Docker Compose up. There is a network. This is a network, you see. User registration system default. If you see this, it has actually created, when we run Docker Compose, it commonly creates a network. Can you see this? And then this is a container for MySQL DB. Okay. So here, this is different and this is different. And let me run this application. What we can do now. So right now, our service is running as a separate service, right? Everyone knows about it, right? So now, let me do one thing. Okay. So let me see what are all the questions. Can we use exists DB user also? Sorry, Teja. Yesterday we didn't get an exception. Why we are getting an exception now? Yesterday we didn't get an exception because yesterday we don't have the DB configured. It's a simple web application with no DB configuration, Naresh Reddy. Okay, I think everything is clear for everyone. So Teja, do you have any questions? I think your question is not understandable from my side. Teja?
Yes, sir. If we already created MySQL account, another, we can use existing one or create a new one for the Docker.
So for Docker, there's a MySQL image already created, right? So see here.
Yes, sir.
See, it cannot communicate with our local MySQL software. Docker container is different. Our local machine is different. That's what I was saying in the beginning. So
yes, sir.
this, right?
Yes, sir. Can you open your MySQL account?
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to, now tell me.
In here, MySQL connections are is there, sir. local instant MySQL and Docker.
Yeah. Hmm.
If already be existence different one, I have Teja in account. I can use that or make different as a Docker for Docker.
I didn't understand your question, Teja, still. So can you repeat your question again?
Here
Tell
MySQL
it
connections
clearly.
are
Tell it clearly. Otherwise, it will be a yeah. Tell
okay,
me.
sir. Here two connections are there, sir.
Hmm.
If for Docker, create new one or we can use existing one.
Existing one in the sense.
Or I have separate
Your
account
voice is breaking, Teja.
No,
name
he's
Your
as
asking.
voice is
Teja. I can use it
No, he's asking whatever
in
on
local host.
local machine, whatever we have SQL, does
Hmm.
Docker uses the same one? Answer will be no, because Docker has
Yeah.
its own container. It's using that SQL.
Yes, exactly. Teja, is that okay? So local
Okay.
machine MySQL is different and Docker MySQL is different.
Okay.
It's not same. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So let me go and let's see why this is not still running. Okay. So right now we do have the MySQL, right? And if you just go to this containers, let me start this one again. So let me remove this first of all. And go to the images and run this image again. Run this. Okay, still it is not running. The problem is, see, if you see this, both are two images. There are two ways of communication, okay? If this MySQL has to be, this is a MySQL container and this is a user registration container, right? So there are two containers right now. If these two containers have to talk with each other, I have to include my user registration also as a service inside the services. Okay, so I can define a user registration service. And then I need to give the image name as Tanvi / user registration. That means it's a registration, right? Colon 1.0. Right? So, but here, we will not do this for now. But do you have any alternative to how to make this communication happen, right? So let me tell you one simple thing over here. So MySQL, if you see this MySQL is a container and this registration is also a container, okay? So right now this container is running inside a Docker. It's independent, and MySQL is also running inside a Docker, and that is independent. But can this container communicate with this container? And we don't have to define that service over here. Do we have any other way? Yes, we have another way. So let me open this command prompt. And there is something called ipconfig. So my IP address is this one. I just wanted to copy this. And I just wanted to go to my source main resources. And here, instead of localhost, I just wanted to keep this IP address. Anyone understood what is this, first of all? What I'm just trying to do? Anyone?
Yeah, it's getting confused with the local host because
Yeah. So yeah, so the even local host is nothing but it is something like a 127.0.0.1, right? So that is the alternative address for local host. Do you know that, Suresh, first of all?
no, this is the
Okay.
this is default. Okay. But
this is local host.
Oh,
This
I
is
didn't-
localhost.
yeah,
Okay.
I was
So each
thinking-
and every machine has its local host. That means each and every machine has the local host IP address as 127.0.0.1. So instead of typing localhost colon 8080, we can also type in the browser 127.0.0.1 colon 8080 / test. It will give you. Got it?
So that will get translated to the
Right.
actual
Yeah.
IP address. Okay.
Yes, right, exactly. Okay. So now I said that Docker as its own local host and our local operating system has its own local host. Two local hosts cannot communicate with each other, correct?
Yeah.
Correct or not? Yeah. But let's say, Suresh, you have your IP. Let's say you have your own laptop and I have my own laptop. Okay. So can I communicate with your laptop in any of the ways?
Provider is both are in the same network. Or we have
No.
this.
No, right now I don't want to create any network between both of us. But is there any way in the networking concept, can I communicate with your laptop directly?
Yeah, if you give IP address, we require
Yes.
IP
So
address.
everyone knows about this. There is something called a desk, right? So open desk, or what is this? There's something called a desk.
Remote desktop.
Not remote desktop. There is one software, right, to connect to the operating system. What is that software, man? So there is something. AnyDesk. Yeah. Anyone knows about this? Yeah. So this is AnyDesk. This is actually, if you have your machine running, and if you have this AnyDesk installed on your machine as a software. So if you can open that, it will ask you right now, if I just have to connect with I just have to control your screen, Suresh. If you have this software, I also have to run this software on my machine. So if you have, so the only thing that you need to give your IP address to me so that I can communicate. Okay, that's the only way, right?
But both has to be in the same network, something, or
No. See, anyhow, we are connected to the internet, right? So that's the network, basically, right?
only require internet.
Yeah. Only internet is required, and this software is running on your machine as on my machine. So if I just have to control your screen, right? You just have to give me your IP address so that I can paste the IP address in my AnyDesk software, and then probably I will connect to your system if you are going to give permission access. That's one thing. Okay. So like the same wise, right now, if you see that Docker was unable to communicate with my local machine database, MySQL, which is running on my local, right? But here, what I just wanted to do, here we are actually making this. So right now, if this application is running in Docker, okay, in Docker, basically what we are doing over here. So 127.0.1, that means this will not work. So what I just wanted to give here, I just wanted to give my IP address, first of all. So here, what is going to happen, first of all, if you just see it clearly, 1 second, guys, there's a small disturbance, 1 second. Yeah. So here, Docker cannot communicate with my local host, my MySQL DB. That means if you just open this, so it cannot communicate with this one, but it can communicate with this one. Do you know the reason why? Because this Docker DB has been exposed by the Docker container to our machine, correct? Hello?
Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah. Yeah. So right now this is exposed by the container. So we are using it in our local machine, right? But if Docker has to communicate with this one, that means our database which is running on my local, I need to provide IP address, not the local host, because local host cannot communicate with each other. That operating system local host is specific to that operating system, and my local operating system has its own local host. So two local hosts cannot communicate with each other. That is not possible. But if you have the IP address, then communication can happen. Got it?
But what question is, why do you need to communicate? Because just we need only one SQL, right? I think Tejas also had the same question. Like, look like.
Yeah. See, basically, if you just see here, our application is not running inside a Docker, right? First of all, it was unable to connect to the Docker desktop. That means the DB. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Yeah. Now there are two ways I'm talking. The first way is, see, right now I can make this registration as a part of this network so that they can communicate. There is no issue in that. But is there any other way apart from this? The other way is IP address communication. So this is MySQL, which is running on Docker desktop. And this is a separate container. And this is a separate container, correct? So let me tell you the reason for this. MySQL container is there, right? It's running inside Docker, correct?
Yeah.
Now I have user registration Spring Boot application. It is also running in Docker, right? Running inside a Docker container. So in Docker, if this container has to communicate with this container, okay, there are two ways. The first way is through IP address, and the second way is through Docker Compose, through a common network. Agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we will discuss this. This is a very simple approach, but let me tell you. But first, let's see this first of all. Okay. So first of all, what I need to do now. So here, let's go to this. So before discussing this one, we'll just discuss this one so that it will be a, it will give 100% clarity to everyone.
But one quick question. But when
Yeah.
Java application that requires JDK, right? That's
Yeah.
also one of this is also considered as application, right?
Right.
So,
right.
but
Exactly.
for that we don't require separate. Like just
Okay.
like you.
Got it. Your question. Okay. So if you see this user registration, so if you see this image, user registration itself has a JDK, right?
Oh, because you put
That's
that.
the reason it was. Yeah, because it was built on top of see, Docker file basically going to give some instructions to build an image, right? So this image already has a JDK. Correct? Yeah, that's it.
This is because you gave that path, that whatever in the
Right,
property.
OpenJDK 17 Alpine, that image.
But that way, SQL, we cannot give SQL also, right?
See, the only thing is, see here, if you see this Docker file, so here we can actually install only one software.
Oh, we can't install more. Okay.
Yeah. So to install multiple softwares, Docker Compose tool is only the way. Here we can install MySQL, we can install Kafka, we can install Postgres, multiple databases also we can install. Okay. So Docker Compose is a tool where we can define n number of services. Let's say, for example, we are having MySQL. Okay. Now let me tell you the approach that I just wanted to follow now. Okay. So let's go to this and let's define our. So what is our service name? So if you just go to this application.yaml, what is the name that I have given? User registration system. The service name also has to be the same. Here, whatever the spring.application name that you are going to give, that will be a service name inside the Docker Compose file. Got it? Okay. Now copy paste this and go to your Docker Compose and paste it over here. So this will be the service name. Press enter. Now, what is the image for this one? First of all, so what is the image? If you can see the Docker. So what is the image name over here? So it is Dhanvi /registration 1.0. This is the one, right? So now what I just wanted to do, image Dhanvi /registration . Colon 1.0. Any questions on this? Is it clear? This is only the image name that I just wanted to build.
And
But
this
the
image
image is
name is
already there.
coming from where? Whatever
Sorry?
you get. Registration 1.0. This Docker is giving this name. The
No,
image
Docker
name.
is not giving. No. Docker will give see here it is going to give a number of names, but we are not going to pick up that. So
Mhm.
here, how I have built this Docker image by using this Docker build -t and then the image name, right? So we have to give the same thing over here like this.
Got it.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Now the next thing what we need to do. So there is something called ports. Ports also we need to give, right?
Yes.
So port, what is the port? By default, it is running on 8080, and I just wanted to expose it on 8080. That's it. Simple, right? Understood? Okay. Now here we need to give something like what we need to give. So I just have to give the MySQL. I think server.port is already there. So I think probably this is enough, right? So image name and the ports, correct? But here I just
in
yeah,
SQL,
yeah.
sir, like it didn't accept the same port, right? But here it will application will accept because both
Yeah.
are
So here, yes, that's right. So here, let's go to this application.yaml, and I just wanted to paste it in different tab now. Okay. So here, what is the email? What is the service name that we do have for MySQL DB? Here,
Yeah.
you don't have to give the IP address. MySQL DB. That's it. Because this user registration and MySQL DB are a part of Docker Compose, correct? This is one image and this is one image. These two images can talk to each other if they are part of Docker Compose. Very simple.
Yes.
Okay, understood? So if you define MySQL DB and the image name is MySQL, right? So what is the service name here? MySQL DB, right? So here we don't have to use localhost or any IP address. You can just give the service name. And while application is running, this user registration system can talk to MySQL DB because they are part of the same network. That means whenever we define any services inside the Docker Compose YAML file, they are a part of same network. They can communicate directly through the names. That's it. Got it?
The question, still the doubt was
Okay.
8080, they are like in this one, right? SQL,
Hmm.
it was complaining, it's not allowing to run on
Yeah.
the same port. But in case of application, it does. Because
No.
what is
See,
the reason?
No, 1 second. So your question is how this application.yaml is going to communicate with this MySQL DB, right?
No, my question was regarding the port number. So in line number 10.
Can
right?
you tell me the line number? 10, this one,
10,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
here because you get it was not allowing to run up to the same port number, right? Like
Yes, correct. But here, so I just wanted to highlight my point over here. Okay. So right now, this is my local machine, right? This is my local machine. I have to use 3307. But if the services are part of the same network, we don't have to use 3307 over here. We can use 3306 safely because they are a part of same network now.
And
See,
but line
no, 1 second. Let me tell you once again. See, right now so this user registration system can directly communicate with MySQL DB with this service name only. Okay. And now when it is going to communicate directly with the service name, it doesn't need 3307 because since it is going to call the MySQL DB directly, it can use 3306 because they are a part of same network. Now, if you consider the local machine, if you just see this local machine, so this local machine environment is different and Docker MySQL environment is different. That's why we need to give 3307 in order to access the Docker container MySQL from the local machine, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And that's what we are doing exactly. So that environment and this environment is different. But if you consider, I have said that Docker Compose tool is basically used to define a lot of services where the services can talk to each other directly with the service name, and even the port is not necessary for them. They can communicate on the same port. That's the total idea. I have given MySQL DB 3306 itself.
If they are in
You
the
don't
same,
have to. Yeah, they are a part of same network, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah. Now I will tell you when we run this Docker Compose up. Let's see what is going to happen now. Okay. So first of all, let me build this application because application.yaml file is changed right over here. So let me build the application now. So Docker. So not this one. Maven clean install. Let me build this application so that this latest code will be there inside the generated jar. Okay. There are so many charts. Can you please stop it? First of all, I'll tell you. So it will take some time. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that first of all. Okay. So here, first of all, okay. So this is a local one, right? So probably we do have to do one thing first of all. So let me close this application first. So in local build, it will fail because it will unable to connect to the MySQL, right? So here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to define some properties over here. Environment. And here I just wanted to give MySQL. This name can be your same name. So here I just wanted to give MySQL DB. And I just wanted to use MySQL host over here. See, why I have given like this, anyone knows, first of all? See, right now, if I do Maven clean install, right? So it will, so this property will not be recognized and the right side property will be taken. So localhost 3306. Got it? Anyone? See, right now, if you see this is unable to define the URL, right? So here we are actually, this URL is not getting connected to the Docker because this is our local machine, right? So here, what I need to do, I just wanted to define some properties over here. And also for this application.yaml, registrations, I think probably this is fine. And this is also fine. So here we need to define the MySQL username, MySQL underscore username. That means here I have to use Docker MySQL. Let's go to this Docker MySQL. That's the username, right? So I just wanted to go to this and here $. MySQL underscore username colon. And here I just wanted to give the local host root. Okay. So probably once we are doing Docker Compose up, these values will be there. So these values will be replaced in the inside this one. And whenever we run in localhost, this property, the right side values will be picked up. Okay. So let me build this application again. Here this. Let me do Maven clean install. Yeah, I think it is getting initialized. Okay, now it is perfectly fine. So do you understand this, first of all? Anyone has any confusions over here? So do you understand this? See, while running in my local, so I have to build my image in local, or first I have to build a jar file, right? To build a jar file, what I need to do, first of all, from my side, right? So I need a local host. I cannot have this one and this one in combination, right? So here, when I do Docker compose up, probably it will take this application.yaml, and if this property is present in the Docker compose file, it will take this, and it will also take this, right? Why I have not changed the password? Because my local DB password and the Docker MySQL password are same. So that's the reason I have kept the same over here. So only this thing and these things will change, right? So that's the reason. So here, when we do Docker compose up, Docker MySQL as a username will be used. And when we are running in local, like Maven clean install, localhost will be used and root will be used as a username. Okay. So that's the total idea. So now this application is built, and confused. There will be a lot of confusions, I know, first of all, Murli. Yes,
Hello,
Murli,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, if is this Docker, will you explain this later again in detail, or are you explaining
Sorry?
in detail right now? So that's what I
It's
want to
not
ask.
yet covered, first of all.
Okay,
There are
then
so
don't
many
do that,
things.
sir.
Sorry?
Then don't go deep, no, sir.
I am not
Because
going
it's
deep.
a lot
This is
of
the basic now.
it's a lot of confusion.
Yeah. No. What is your confusion? Tell me, first of all.
Yes. So it's a bit lengthy. So what I'm trying to understand is, so we are creating a Docker image from our application.
Right.
So we are making a MVN install and making a jar,
Right.
and we are combining both its MySQL and our application as one
Yeah.
file, Docker compose file, so that they can communicate with
Right.
each other.
With the service names. Yeah, correct.
Yes. So far good. And after that, so we want to use the Docker image. So basically, why we are creating a Docker image, so that we can use as a container in our any system, just not a system, so that we can use it and run it, and we can execute the application. So that comes back to this doubt.
Okay.
So once
what
we
is your
run,
doubt? Tell me.
yes, sir. So my doubt is, after we already created jar for this, no? How are they now? Not
See, previous jar has a localhost colon 3306. How it will work?
Yes.
Previous jar has localhost colon 3306. That's the code, right?
Yes, sir.
And Docker image was built from that jar, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you run that image, it will fail. That means it was unable to connect to localhost, correct or not?
Right.
Arre Baba. See, what was there? See, we have built this jar like this, right? Initially.
Yes, sir.
Will this execute in Docker, first of all? Will it identify localhost?
No. Not our local.
Then probably it has to use this name, right? Service name, because their user registration is a part of Docker Compose, and MySQL DB is a part of Docker Compose. So this user registration system can communicate with MySQL DB directly with the service name. So here, if I place MySQL DB directly over here, I cannot build my application.
Right.
Why? Right. So
Yeah.
this when we do Docker Compose up, basically this property will be retrieved from the environment variables from this.
Okay. Nice.
If I run in local using Maven CLI install, this will never be recognized. So that's the reason I have actually made these changes.
Yes, yes, yes. Cool.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the truth. But again, don't worry. I will explain you the things multiple times, not single time.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now I have built the application. So what we can do now. So this is 1.1 snapshot.jar. So now I just wanted to build an image. Now I just wanted to go to this Docker container. I just wanted to remove this image. First of all, just remove this, delete this container also. Yeah, and then go to the image and delete this image also. Okay. Now we will just go to this and Docker build -t. Then we / whatever the name that you suggest. Okay. But here I just wanted to view registration. This is the image name. That's it. :1.1 dot. Dot means the location of the Docker file and press enter. See, in the beginning, there will be a lot of confusions, but trust me, we are not going to end Docker session only by today. So many things I need to explain. Still, there are so many things that I need to explain. So don't worry about that. Okay. So right now, this image is having everything. So if you just go to this containers, I just wanted to remove everything now. And now I just wanted to do Docker compose up. Let's run this up. Okay. Now let's go to this. Now it is actually, see here, user registration system error manifest unknown. So error response from Docker, then we registration 1.0 is not there. So I was using the wrong one over here, first of all. So here, what is the version of the image? 1.1. So here, what is the version that I have given? 1.0. So where is that? Yeah. So here it is 1.1. Sorry for that. So here it is 1.1. So I have given 1.0 over here. Sorry for that. So now run this.
So what is this command for, sir? Like Docker compose
No. Sorry, what do you mean?
No, you gave the command Docker compose up.
I will explain you. I have not explained anything, right? So I'm not explained anything, first of all. I'm just saying, first of all, okay? Okay, so here I just wanted to do one thing. Okay, so here, let's say there is a problem over here. Okay, so let's say which service has to start first. Do you get it? What I'm talking about? When I do Docker compose up, this Docker compose file will start the services. Okay, but
Okay.
how it has to start the services? First of all, first it has to start user registration system, or first it has to start MySQL DB.
Yeah, multiple DB should be.
No.
Equal-
See, whenever we are doing, this Docker compose up, basically what it will do, it will run these services. Okay, but the question over here to everyone is, which service it has to start first? MySQL DB has to be started first, or user registration system has to be started first? That's my simple question. Tell me from your understanding. In order to run this service, we need a database, right?
First, then register.
Yeah,
then-
DB must be first, right? So here we have not given any order, first of all. So here the order will be first MySQL DB will not run, and my user registration can start sometimes, and also MySQL DB also can start sometimes, first of all. Okay, but here there is no order that we are going to assure over here. But I can just say that, let's say if user registration system is going to start first, okay, it will fail, right? It will fail or not, first of all.
Yes, because it's not, it will be unable to find the DB.
Right, exactly. Okay, so now what it has to do, if it is failing, then it has to restart. There is something called restart always. That means until the MySQL DB is up and running. If it is failing, then probably it has to restart it again. Got it?
So, but we have to define the order, right? Second time,
No, no, not required for now. Not required for now. Okay, but what I'm saying, I just wanted to start my user registration system. This is a basic level of things that you need to know first of all. Before knowing all these things, you cannot go to the advanced level. Okay, so here we have kept restart always. What this means? Let's say the user registration system was able to communicate with the DB, but at that time the MySQL DB is not still up and running. So what it has to do, it has to restart always if it is not connecting to MySQL DB.
yeah,
Got the
kind of
clarification now? Yeah.
retry, kind of retry logic.
Right. It's a kind of retry. Okay. Now, what I just wanted to do, it's restart always, and there is also something called depends on. Okay. So here it can depend on MySQL DB. Can you get what I'm doing over here? So it has to restart always, but this user registration system will not start. It has a dependency on MySQL DB. Let's say if it is starting for the first time, it will fail if the MySQL DB is not up. So it will retry it again. And then basically this is a dependency, right? So first it will make sure that MySQL DB is going to start first, and then only user registration system is going to start first. Got it?
Okay, but
So
how
these
many,
two things are,
how many times it has to do? In you normally
no.
you have to keep maximum.
Yeah. See, basically it will take some 8 to 10 seconds of time to start, right?
Okay, fine.
Correct? So here depends on will make sure that first this will be started first. Let's see in action. So clear this and do Docker compose up and do this one. Okay, depends on must be a list. So it is a kind of list. So what I can do. So where is this one? Yeah. This is how it has to be defined. So whatever you see, this is a list. So port is a type of list. So that's the reason it was -3307-3306. It is also a list, and this is also a list. So it has to be defined like this. Let me open the terminal and then do Docker compose up. Okay, now can you see this? Oh, it has started the user registration system. It has created 2 containers. Let it restart. It will fail, first of all. Okay, so here MySQL is not getting recognized. First of all, let me remove this depends on first, and then see what happens for this. Let's do a Docker compose up. Okay, container MySQL DB. It is actually running user registration system only. So why it is not starting the 1 second? Let me keep a restart always. Let me check this out because was on mute, sorry. So I connected to my mobile hotspot, so sorry for that. So power has gone. Okay, so why it is not starting this? It is actually recreating it. It is actually running it. So let me run this again. So there's a conflict. Okay. So let me go to this Docker desktop and go to the containers. So here we can see that user registration system is in start. Let's start this from here directly and see what is happening. So both the systems are running. Okay, now we'll just stop this first. And then we'll start this again. And let's see the logs over here. Okay. So let me go back. I think it is still not working. Okay. So for now, I'll stop the session over here. I think it is already 10:30. I have a meeting at 10:45. I have an interview. So probably can we meet all tomorrow? So tomorrow I will clarify all your confusions. Let me know why it is actually blocking to connect to MySQL DB, which is running on Docker. So let me see that first from my side. Okay. So I will let you know by tomorrow. Okay. Don't worry. I think we have started on Docker Compose. Tomorrow I will explain everything. But right now we are lacking out of time. Okay. So tomorrow we will connect. Okay.
Thank you.
So have a great day, guys. Bye. And I will meet you tomorrow. Happy learning.